Hey everybody, this is Carl back again for another movie spoiler review. And I'll be briefly covering, this is not going to take that very long. I'm going to be briefly covering the Transformers Rise of the Beast. And honestly, this is like a movie, it's like a Transformer movie I haven't gone to theaters to see since the very first Transformers movie directed by Michael Bay. And of course, he's still producing this one, but he's not directing it because, in my opinion, I think everybody's opinion, he nearly tanked that franchise to the freaking ground. I haven't seen Bumblebee, and apparently it's supposed to be good. I don't know, it's got turned off by Transformers. It's like, man, it's like, why waste my money to go see something that's gonna be crappy? And it's all had been crappy, at least up until Bumblebee. And the way this sucked me in because they're introducing the Beast Wars Transformers, and my first introduction to Transformers was the Beast Wars back in the 90s, which, by the way, I want to do eventually, maybe not this year, but maybe next year, a TV show review on the Beast Wars TV show. Because, yeah, that and the TV show Reboot, if you remember Reboot, I'm dating myself here. Yeah, the CGI, is definitely of that time. Even back in that time, it was a little iffy, but it had charm to it that I think people like, overlook the, rough CGI in this here and there of it. But the voice acting I remember being great. It's been a long time, but I remember the voice acting being great, especially the Beast Wars stuff, and the storylines being pretty good. So of course I was like, oh god, you sucked me in. And it's like, dang, I actually do want to see the Beast Wars. Uh, Optimus Primal. And like I expected them like all of them, like kind of like that, maybe not the exact copy, but something similar to what I remember from the show. And of course, the kids who grew up in the 80s loved the OG Transformers, and eventually saw like some of the stuff with the OG Transformers. I like them, but it's just maybe because I had to see them first before I saw the Beast Wars. But Beast Wars got me first. Uh, this movie was directed by Stephen Caple Jr. And we got, and this is my always growing criticism for these Transformers film as a whole. It just saying as like the Godzilla films, it's like nobody cares about the humans. Like if I was directing a Transformers movie, it gotta be on like a planet where there's no humans involved at all, or at least be on Cybertron or something like that, some offshoot, something, because I do not care for the human population. It does not matter in the grand scheme of things when it comes to these Transformers. It's all about the Autobots and the Decepticons, or in this case, the Maximals and the Predacons. Although they don't call them Predacons, but they got these subclass of little, grunts. They are called Predacons because they got these little mini Scorponok instead of having the Scorponok. I have a few like misgivings here and there. It's still like a pretty decent film, but it's just like, man, they're not like very one-to-one with it. But we got Anthony Ramos as Noah Diaz, an ex-military electronics expert. Of course, he has to be. Who lives with his family in Brooklyn, trying to support them, and this is set in the 90s. So it's like, I don't know why you got it. Just this is like supposed to like a follow to Bumblebee, because Bumblebee's supposed to be like a new fresh start for them. But it's like, man, just set in modern day. It's like, but the music in here, they really utilizes the 90s music very well. Dominic Fishback as Lena Wallace, an artifact researcher, and an intern at a museum. Luna Loren Velez as Brianna Diaz, Noah's mother. Dean Scott Vasquez as Chris Diaz, Noah's younger brother. Toby Negway as Reek, Noah's friend, who talks him into Grand Theft Auto in this. Sarah Styles as Jillian, Elena's boss. The Transformers, you got Peter Cullen as Optimus Prime, Ron Perlman as Optimus Primal, Peter Dinklage as Scourge. Optimus Prime, he transforms into a 1987 Freightliner FLA semi-truck. And then Optimus Primal is a Western lowland gorilla. Scourge who's a very interesting Transformer Decepticon, where anytime he defeats a Maximal or Autobot, he takes their logo and as like a trophy hunter and place it on his arm, which as he transforms, it becomes like his grill of the vehicle he's turning into, and you see all these trophies right on the grill, which is kind of like, okay, that is a very interesting cool touch to this villain. He transforms into a black Peterbilt 359 logging semi-truck. Michelle Yeoh as Air Razor, who transforms into a Peregrine Falcon. Only problem with this is the fact that we don't see her in her Transformer mode. You only see her as like the bird format. We got Pete Davidson as Mirage, an Autobot with the ability to like make holograms, and he transforms into a Porsche 964 Carrera RS 3.8 vehicle. Lisa Koshy as RC, Autobot sharpshooter, transforms into a Ducati 916 motorcycle. John DiMaggio as Stratosphere, an Autobot who transforms into a Fairchild C-119 flying boxcar cargo plane. David Sobolov, who voices Rhinox, Battletrap, and the previous Maximal leader Apeling, who's also a Western lowland gorilla for some reason. You never think like they can transform into the same things. They always have their own unique thing they transform into. Rhinox is a white rhinoceros, Battletrap, a Terracon, transforms into an orange 1980s GMC Topkick C7000 tow truck. Michelle J. Rodriguez as Nightbird, a Terracon ninja who transforms into a Nissan Skyline GT-R R33. Coleman Domingo as Unicron, Primus Galactus, a world-devouring planet-sized transformer. Cristo Fernandez as Wheeljack, Autobot scientist that transforms into a 1970s Volkswagen Type 2 panel bus. And Tangai Choriza as Cheetor, who transforms into a cheetah. Of course, you got Bumblebee, who transforms into a yellow-black 1970s Chevrolet Camaro. Freezer, Insectoid Terracons, and like I said, Scorponok, who's just like Predacon drones. This transforms into scorpions. And yeah, this is cool, but it's like maybe in the next one they'll work with they will work with the Megatron and stuff like that. But it's like, you bring in the Beast Wars, you're not going all the way with it, and that's my kind of issue. Because Rhinox is kind of like the pilot engineer type guy, if I remember. Essentially like a tech guy, you know, because I remember him working on stuff in the show that he's kind of like the engineer uh, of the Maximals, and it's kind of like the heart of the group. And he doesn't get much to say in this, but it's like also like, where's Rat Trap? Because Rat Trap was fun, and Cheetor has always been like, Cheetor should have been behaving the same way Mirage was acting. And I'm not really much of a fan of Pete Davidson like that. I don't think I find him that much funny and stuff. It was okay in this, more so than anything else I've seen him in personally. If you like him, that's cool. But Cheetor should have been acting the way Mirage should have been acting. But it's a very stoic kind of thing. And it's like, God, that is kind of lame. And it's like, if you go bring it into Beast Wars, okay, maybe it's like maybe too much, but would it have been if you just had, like, instead of having the Scourge guy and these two jobber minions he's working with, why not actually bring in T-Rex Megatron along with the Scorponok, Waspinator, who else? Crap, I forgot. It's like the Femme Fatale spider transformer that, because I forgot her doggone name. It was working for the Predacons. They should just went with Predacons versus the Maximals and Autobots. But whereas like Tigertron or Tigress or something like that, or Silverbolt, there's plenty of like Beast Wars characters that you should have been bringing in, like what's that Raptor one, Dinobot. I was like, come on. I was like, you're going to do it, go all the way with it, and bring, have them to be the adversaries. But I guess you need like to kill off the villains. You can't kill off like Megatron in the first movie out, I guess. But it's just like they have these like mid-credit scenes, but it's like I would prefer the mid-credit scene to be like bringing in like the other Predacons, the real Predacons. But anyway, the movie begins with on Cybertron, or at least some kind of planet. It's not Cybertron, but it's some kind of planet where you would think that's where like the Beast Wars would have been occurring on, but Unicron is about to eat the planet, and he's searching for this. Of course, these Transformer movies always have some kind of MacGuffin type of thing, but you got this kind of transwarp key that Apeling is given to Optimus Primal and the others to go escape, to get out of reach of Unicron, so he won't be able to traverse through time and space to continue planet eating. So he holds off and fights off Scourge to no avail. And so fast forward a few years in 1994 Brooklyn, where Noah can't get a job because he's like former ex-military, that somehow he something caused him to lose focus and stick with his brothers. So it's like, why do I hire a guy who can't stick with a team, blah 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 blah. But clearly there's also racist undertones to it. So he goes to get help from a buddy of his who tries to give him some money so he can help pay for the bills for his little brother's like medical care that they're 3 months behind on. There's all those kind of beats that's kind of like, I honestly do not care. It's played better. Honestly, like I give it this. It's, even though I don't care for it, it still played better than any of the previous, like, because I only saw the first movie. I only saw like honest trailers and everything wrong with videos about the he she videos about the other Transformers movies, so I know they were all crap and all the mistakes they were making through all that stuff. And primarily it was these like, because Michael Bay, honestly, because it's like the Michael Bay isms with these humans, where it's like got these little horny shots of, you know, Megan Fox and other female characters, and the thirst for the U.S. military support, and like the editing of the fights from the other Transformers movies, where it's like very unclear and somewhat racist here and there, but they, you know, took all that out and like made that better here, which, you know, so yeah, the whole Shia LaBeouf no the crap is like, no, you don't get none of that crap. These are sensible people, so I appreciate that. I still don't think it was needed, but it still played better, thank goodness. So while Noah's trying to break into Mirage, who he thinks is just a normal car, Elena investigates this, you know, bird statue who is in the form of Airazor, and because clearly the Maximals been on Earth for quite some time, where other civilizations have left hieroglyphs and statues and images, other images of these creatures, and the statue held 1/2 of the transwarp keys, and as soon as he ends up cracking it open, it sends off a beam of a signal where only Transformers can only see. So this alerts Optimus Prime, who alerts all the other Autobots that's in disguise and hidden, to convene on his locations so they can get the key, so they can finally go home to Cybertron, which I would think Cybertron in most iterations have been destroyed, and I'm pretty sure it was by Unicron, but it's never really explained here. It's assumed that Cybertron is okay, but Mirage ends up bringing in this hideaway with Noah, and of course Optimus has reservations about working with a human because he feels they're untrustworthy. He has only one mission, is to get his people home. And of course, I'm glad like Bumblebee kind of bring up, like, you know, it's like they kind of had to bring out about, like, I guess Bumblebee movie was set in the 80s. So there was like a little line drop about, you know, his trust in a human way back in the 80s, which you'll think you'll see, well, I guess you won't see more of, but I'm not sure. Not see like how that movie ends, but it was like a female lead that's working with Bumblebee. But it was I only laughed a couple of times in this film. One being where, because Bumblebee speaks in like movie dialogue, which I tend to, most of my conversations, you know, half of which is like movie lines. But Optimus is like, okay, you gotta stop going to those drive-in movie theaters. So that was pretty funny. So Mirage convinced Optimus to let Noah go and get the key, so that way they can get their hands on it, because he's small enough to get inside and grab it and go undetected, unlike them. And Noah agrees because Mirage says, like, hey, I can transform in, it's not just this particular car, I can take the shape of like other vehicles, like a Ferrari or you know, a Camaro or whatever, and you can sell me, you get your money for your family, then I can just, you know, leave anytime I want to, so that way, you know, everything's even Steven. So they go to the museum, and the Terracons already, you know, it's like receiving like the beacon themselves, so they go to Earth, and as he's, you know, Noah's trying to get the key from Elena, even though she doesn't believe that, you know, what he's saying about like robot aliens, until the Terracons show up and start blasting the place, and the Autobots fight against these Terracons. Should be the Predacons, but and then also in a fight, Bumblebee gets seemingly killed. He did don't worry, he makes a triumphant return, because he's like the Pikachu of the franchise. They cannot kill off this mascot. So this kind of wrecks, you know, Optimus emotionally, because like, you know, I'm supposed to be protecting my people so they can get home safely, and I'm failing. So they managed to get their hands on the thanks to AirRaiser showing up in the nick of time. They reconvene so they can find the other half of the key. But also there's like some kind of password that's also broken in half. So in order to activate the key so they can, like, you know, get to send them home. But Noah speaking with Elena privately, like, yo, we gotta destroy these keys once we get our hands on them, because we gotta look out for ourselves, because this world eater could easily come after us. We cannot allow them to like harm us. You can't get to us. But Elena have reservations, because like, you know, how are they going to get home? And it's kind of, it seems kind of like, I guess you can say it makes sense because he's acting out of desperation, and it's kind of parallels to Optimus Prime, but it's like he went to that conclusion so fast to me, and it's like, wow, you kind of like quickly want to backstab these guys when you clearly know they want to go home, and this is their literal key to do that, and you kind of want to screw them over so quickly so you can just protect yourselves. There was no, at least have some kind of lead up to that or something. There wasn't no added kind of desperation on his part. Sure, yeah, there's a planet eater coming, but it's like, I don't know, it's very far away. You can like have the discussion about it, at least like make sure they get home, that you can like, and they can just take it away, and without it there's no, as long as it's in their hands, it's not in the Terracon's hands, and they can't bring Unicron to the Earth. But they go to Peru once, you know, Elena runs some kind of follow the clues, and they need to go to Peru where they meet with Wheeljack. Whereas the second funniest moment is where like this Transformer speaks in a Mexican accent, and you know, oh, he's, you know, to know it's like, oh, like he's speaking in like trying to language with his, and it's like and like the Autobot's like, what? It's like, yeah, oh, I just know the accent. Like, what accent? Oh, well, it's kind of like, I didn't want to assume. It's like, and like, you know, Will Jack's like, yeah, oh, because, you know, because it would be racist. And I find it very funny and what adds to the hilarity is the fact that it's like, how can I be racist to a robot? But as I think it was kind of like a wink and a nod to the fact that previous, outside of Bumblebee, the previous Michael Bay Transformers films had, like, some racist moments here and there with certain characters. It's kind of like weird, and it's kind of like a play. I imagine it's kind of like a nod hilarity to that bad decision. So since Peru's having some kind of festival, the two humans go down and follow the trail to this underground lair where they find this treasure chest of sorts. There's supposed to be a key inside, but the key's not in there. Oh, and then Mirage hands Noah this kind of gauntlet thingy that fires like a energy blast thing. Because apparently these Autobots can just do that for humans. Don't know why they never did that in the previous films, if they can easily just do that. But I don't think it's Shia LaBeouf's fault. And I want to bring up about Shia LaBeouf. Shia LaBeouf is actually a very good actor, but because of those Transformers movies, really kind of put that in the toilet for a little while. And that was like very unfair, because y'all remember like that movie that thriller movie Disturbia, I think it was called. Because I remember he was pretty good in that, and I did not mind him in that Constantine movie, and I did not mind him in the iRobot movie, and of course he was great in Even Stevens. But beyond that, it was like, I know he's been in other stuff I haven't really seen, but those the ones I did see, and those were really good performances. But just the Transformers really kind of like erased any kind of goodwill for a while. And of course now he's a meme with two things, like just do it, which is more positive, but the whole no, that really kind of like made him a joke, which is kind of a shame. But the Terrorcon's starting to attack them, but Ares gets infected by Scourge, and they end up meeting up with the Maximals. And as that's a little more with Optimus Primal and Optimus Prime, because Primal is the predecessor to Optimus Prime. And you can see like these two have like, because Optimus Prime always looked on to Optimus Prime as like his guiding inspiration, but it's like never meet your heroes kind of situation, where it's like, wow, he's kind of like a cynical dude, and it always seemed like he always knew what the right thing to do, but he's like he doesn't behave in the way I always imagine him to behave. But he's given the predecessors given the ancestors some bit of wisdom here, which is kind of cool, where it's like we learned to trust these people because they accepted us, at least this tribe accepted us, and we protect them, and vice versa. So we work in tandem. They're not all like, horrible as you might think. And this kind of leads him and Noah to an understanding of wanting to protect their people. But Ares gets fully corrupted, try to kidnap Elena, but thanks to Optimus Primal, who like didn't want to, but know he had to kill his friend in order to prevent her from being fully corrupted and causing devastation. Which is kind of a bummer. You don't get to see her transform into a robot form, so you don't even know what she even looked like. Which is a shame. And I'm pretty sure Ares was a man in the show. Was he in Beast Wars? Or she was in Beast Wars? I can't remember. But it doesn't matter. So now that the Terracon's got both parts of the key. They come with a plan thanks to, like, encouragement from his brother. He got the will to, like, all right, buddy, like, he's all soldier up, like, all right, buddy, soldier up. And it's like, shut up. It's like, don't try to be like a Captain America to us now. Shut up. Like, he's like, they start laying out a plan that, okay, Elena going through her notes, figure out the code to, like, neutralize the tower structure that's being formed through the volcano, so that way they can negate the beacon and send Unicron back where he came from. So the Autobots and Maximals take the fight directly, while the humans sneak underground, try to get to the console to input the code. And which is an awesome battle. He's like, here, like, the Autobots, like, transform, Maximals maximize, and you see like it's a very cool battle sequence, very, very cool. And it's cool seeing, like, my boy Optimus Prime after all these years. It's very cool. Like I said, even cooler if you have to see, like, all the Maximals, all of them. And like I said, like, Cheetor and Rhinox should have gotten some bit more agency, because they're cool characters in the show. And bring in Rat Trap and Dinobot and get all, like, it's just like, oh my god, it's like you're only doing half the work. But Bumblebee ends up coming back as a Deus Ex Machina, because they bring the body, because they think, like, oh, we bring back the Cybertron. There's these Energon things that power up the Transformers, and there's some Energon scattered through the planet, and thanks to this beacon, it reunites the Energon, giving, like, life back to Bumblebee, and Bumblebee comes in and, like, playing like Ella Cool J is like, Mom said knock you out. Mama said knock you out. It's like, okay, that was pretty dope. That was like a dope ass entrance. That's how I probably want to come in, like, in like a dope ass fight with, like, some awesome music of my choice. Usually it's Eminem, but very dope entrance. Kind of similar to, like, how Iron Man 2 is, he's jumping off that plane into the stadium in the beginning of the film, playing AC/DC. That's, like, it's a dope way to enter a room. But so Mirage protecting Noah from Scourge attacks. He's in, like, suffering fatal wounds, and then, thanks to the encouragement of his younger brother, because, like, gives him that inspiration he needs to push forward, Mirage just turns into an Iron Man suit for Noah for some weird reason, because no Transformer does that. But it gives, like, him and Optimus to, have them team up to take down Scourge. In a fight, the council gets destroyed. But they still managed to get rid of Unicron, but it's like an awesome display from Optimus Prime, where he's, like, shoving Scourge into a lava, and he's, like, taking a sword and chopping off his arms and legs and ripping off Bumblebee's emblems, like, this belongs to my friend, and just, like, takes it. Dude, that was, like, an awesome, that was next to, like, the bigger fight, that was, like, an awesome solo fight between Scourge and Optimus Prime. And they end up, escaping, like, the the dissipating castle thing, or tower. And so they're still living on Earth, and the keys are destroyed. So hey, cheesecake, nice. Thanks for following me. But yeah, man, Uh, I said, yeah, I saw it Thursday. Uh, but yeah, man, I just and then of course you got this in the ending, you know, Elena getting her accolades that she wasn't getting before because she's pretty much like the Lara Croft kind of situation. But then like Noah gets uh uh gets an invite to join GI Joe, so it's because they all Hasbro. It's like, oh, okay, that's pretty dope. Because like Transformers, GI Joe really, I mean, the first one wasn't that bad, but you know, GI Joe movies that came after it really kind of tanked. And of course, there always been talks about having like a, you know, team up movie between the Transformers and other Hasbro type of lines. And of course, everybody likes Storm Shadow and Snake Eyes primarily, but that was pretty dope. Like bringing in like the GI Joe, and now that because like DC early DC 10 years ago and the supernatural monster horror movie monsters, they they having a tough time getting like their own little franchise off the ground because they don't want to copy Marvel, but they lay out the blueprint. Nobody's gonna judge you for utilizing the same blueprint as Marvel to make a proper franchise if y'all want a franchise. Mirage Death made me bawl my eyes out, but him just groaning in pain and then being revived to make the suit. Yeah, it's like, I don't know. They didn't. Would you really call it a death? He's like fatal wound, technically. I mean, Bumblebee was like actual death, but the Energon revived him because he's pretty much like the Pikachu of the franchise. They can't like knock out their mascot essentially, because like Bumblebee is cool, but he's not like my guy. Scourge is ugly. So yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, what are these Terracon bull crap? I mean, it's like you're bringing the Beast Wars. Like you only bring in half the Beast Wars. Like bring in all the Beast Wars. Honestly, you know, like how awesome would it be to bring in like a big T-Rex that Megatron T-Rex that transforms into a T-Rex head gun thing, and bring in like, you know, all the classic from the TV show. If you remember the freaking TV show, you'll know what I'm talking about. How awesome that freaking show is. It's like, oh my god, you only did half the work. You don't necessarily need to kill all of them, but have them run away and to return again for another film. I was like, oh my god. But it's a cool idea to bring in the G.I. Joe characters, because now that people are more like, you know, not so desperate and try to rush things, take their time. Now they can bring in G.I. Joe characters and do it right. They had like a fourth Terracon to go with Scourge Nightbird and a big truck boy, but he got canceled. He was gonna be a bust. Yeah, it's like oh my god. It's like, god. Hey, you reduce Scorponok to be like just little mini Scorponok stormtrooper type characters. And I was like, god, that is lame. I want to see like Scorponok terrorize, and then like, you know, transform is like, you know, pincers into like rockets inside. And it's like, how dope is that? I'm like, oh my god, like come on. And then like I love Rat Trap, and they made, you got Cheetor. You could have made Cheetor like, I guess they didn't want to have two Mirages on because it seemed kind of redundant in the film. But the way Mirage behaves should be something what Cheetor should be behaving. Cheetor and Rhinox doesn't feel like they do anything in this, and they are so good characters. Oh my god. Oh, what's the Maximals? What's the Maximal characters? You know, Primal, Rhinox, Cheetor, Rat Trap, Dinobot, Tiger Hawk. Yeah, of course you got Air Razor, of course. Yes, it was a female. Silverbolt, Death Charge. Then you have the Predacons, Waspinator, Tarantulas. Uh, uh, who's like the you got like Pterosaur, Black Narachnia. That was her name, Black Narachnia. It was like a Black Widow spider. Inferno, Army Ant, Quick Strike. It was like a scorpion with a cobra tail. Pterosaur is like a pterodactyl kind of dinosaur. Uh, 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 yeah, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong. Is Dinobot? It was like a different form of like a Starscream. Because I always, as a kid, I always thought Dinobot was like the Starscream because he always trying to usurp Megatron. I feel like, oh, he's like the Starscream of the Beast Wars. They could have done something with the Buzz Terracon at the start of the film when Optimus was looking at the beacon. He could have jumped Optimus leading to a fight with skilled Buzz Terracon, which would explain his absence. But no, he had to skip him because he wasn't a cool truck, tow truck, or a sports car. Let's remove him because he's just a basic bus. Yeah, he's a basic bitch bus. Nah, bro, he could have died in an introduction fight. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's not wrong. I mean, like, yeah, it's all various vehicles. You know, it's like, not every vehicle is everybody's favorite vehicle, but, you know, you gotta make them unique. Same thing with, like, all the, like, Maximals. That's why I didn't care for, like, the Apeling. It's like, why do you make two Optimus Primals? I was like, it's supposed to be uniquely for Optimus Primal, the ape gorilla look. You could have had him some other animal to make him unique, or better yet, make him Tigertron or Silverbolt, one of the two, because they got because it got like a leadership type of aesthetic to them, but yeah, it's still better. Like it's still better than any of the previous, outside of Bumblebee. It's still better than the previous Michael Bay Transformer films by far. So like I said, they're slowly building things up. So next time we see the Beast Wars, we'll see. Maybe it's because they can't have too many and the ones that want to throw too many in people's faces for them to. I guess you could say it's hard to follow for the average viewer. You throwing too many things at them at once, kind of situation. Wheeljack's design was so bad, they could have just given him an original head with glasses and the VW minibus colors, not make him into like a nerd emoji. Yeah, but like I said, it's unique because I give them credit for like certain uniqueness to vehicles that you might not be privy to. Instead of your just generic kind of like sports car or whatever. Yeah, they made like a very like stereotypical nerd, but honestly, it's not that too dissimilar to what Michael Bay turned Donatello in the old Ninja Turtles films. How they making like or even like the more newest one that's about to come out, where like I'm not like head over heels as most people are about it, with the Black April O'Neil. That's the one I'm talking about, where they have like, because the Ninja Turtles are already distinct enough. They don't need to put, a hat on hat with it, where they gotta have like, oh, Donnie gotta have bifocals or goggles or glasses and buck teeth or something like that to make him like, oh, he's the nerd and tech guy, so we gotta make him very stereotypical looking. It's like, we got it. You can just have him do stuff with tech, and we understood he's the tech guy. You don't need to throw on glasses to inform, just like with Wheeljack. I was like, we don't need like a hat on a hat with it. We get it. We can get it by the way he just do it. God, man, it's like I know, like I feel like I'm down on this movie, but I'm not. It's actually a pretty decent Transformers movie. Uh, but it's like maybe I'm being like a Beast Wars purist too much instead of just looking at what it gives me and not what I wanted. But you're bringing in the Beast Wars and you're fully aware of what the Beast Wars are and like how popular the 90s show was. So if you bring in somebody, if you didn't add all the Beast Wars, you know the ones that you're bringing in and what they're like. So you need to encapsulate that. Have Cheetor behave, like a teenager, and Rhinox, the engineer and the heart and soul of the Maximal team. That would at least be enough. But no, they seem very stoic and don't have much personality to them, and it's kind of lame in my opinion. But anyway, that is my thoughts on Rise of the Beast. It's decent. They could have done more, though. But Peter Dinklage as Scourge was really good, though. I think my favorite character is Mirage because it's like a big bro figure. Yeah, it's probably like the better role that I've seen Pete Davidson in than I've seen in anything else. That because Pete Davidson is not my speed. He's not my jam like most other people think he is. I think he only is popular because he got some kind of supposed big ding dong that girls are just gravitating to. But honestly, I've seen stuff he's in. He's not really all that freaking funny, in my opinion. I'm not hating on the guy. Don't get me wrong. He's got chops apparently, but it's just like he's just not my cup of tea. But in this, he's better than most other stuff that I've seen him in. And when I saw it was only 11, every joke he said made everyone laugh. Yeah. But hopefully in the next Transformers installment we'll have more Beast Wars characters. Hopefully. But like I said, I eventually will do like a Beast Wars TV show review, maybe some point next year. But anyway, I'm about to sign off in next hour or so. I will be getting back to playing some Destiny 2 and Street Fighter 6. But I think next movie should have Rex and Megatron in it. Yeah, you hopefully. Because honestly, how dope it will look for like a T-Rex transforming. It's like, oh my god, it's like I'm gonna feel bitter about it. It's like I'm trying not to get in my feelings. But if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel already, the links are in the description below. I'm gonna put it again here. You can follow me on my Twitch. Check out my YouTube channel, my Patreon if you want to financially support me. You can subscribe to just the $1 tier if you want certain reviews that you suggest that you want me to check out. You can check out my Patreon and see which one's to your liking. But if you subscribe to my YouTube channel and send in your questions via YouTube or my Twitter, I'm going to be doing a Hot Ones Challenge video. So I'm gathering questions so I can answer them while I go live with trying out the hot sauces for the video. We got to redeem the guys: Scorpions, a sports car, a tow truck, and semi truck, and a Planet Eater. Yeah, I mean honestly, I don't think we ever got Unicron, because I know he's pretty much the Galactus of the Transformers world, but and he was actually, well, I won't say he's done perfectly, but better than what we got with the Stormcloud Galactus from the Fantastic Four: Rise of the Silver Surfer. Yeah, you only got to see his eyes and mouth. I guess no. I was about to say I guess we couldn't afford it, but no. We people shit on the Eternals movie, but honestly, the way they made the Celestials look was freaking phenomenal. You see the weight and the scale of those celestial beings. You cannot tell me you cannot do something nearly that same size for Unicron. Yeah, sure, he transforms into like a big planet, but as he transforms into a robot, he should be the size of a celestial. Marvel got Disney money, so they could have probably afford it, but you could have at least done something half that size at the very least, because it can be done. I'm just like, okay, why couldn't I expected like something like a celestial, like somewhere akin to that. So it's like, oh my god, it's like, I don't know why you didn't do it. Imagine him transforming into the next one. It would probably be like the best scene. Yeah, I don't know why they didn't do the Rise of the Beast. Because like maybe because they didn't have the Disney money, but so I guess they couldn't do much. But I don't know. It's like you don't need to do it on the same scale as Disney did, but at least half the scale. Because I don't know. It's just like I don't know, man. But that would have been dope. But you at least got him in some capacity. Because Unicron is like a devastating force. But anyway, yeah, like I said, like, yes, go to my Twitter or my any of my YouTube videos and leave a comment with a question if you want to add to the list for questions you want me to answer while I try all the hot sauces for the Hot Ones Challenge video to celebrate my 400 subscriber milestone. When Bumblebee entered the final fight, I was for. Yeah, because honestly, that was like I said, that was like a dope way. Just like with in the beginning of Iron Man 2, where he's like playing AC/DC as he's flying out of the plane. That was a dope thing with Bumblebee playing LL Cool J, Mama's Gonna Knock You Out, as he's like diving through there and knocking out all these, Scorponok drones. So yeah, that was pretty boss. I really thoroughly enjoyed it. That scene and the fight between all the Terracons and the Maximals and Autobots was like a pretty dope fight scene. My favorite two scenes in the entire film, honestly. Yeah, it's like I'm not a huge Bumblebee. I respect Bumblebee. I think he's fine, but people like love Bumblebee, and it's like, yeah, he's dope, but it's like I don't like love him that much. He doesn't give that kind of. They treat him like Baby Yoda, and it's like I don't get that same feeling. You might feel differently, but but that's how. Just because Bumblebee's interest was massive. Yeah, that was pretty dope. It's very Iron Man 2. That's what like I got the same vibes from it. If honestly, if I, because I'm an Eminem fan, and it's like, if I gotta go into a situation in like a dope interest, I'm gonna play like a dope song. Yeah, and it's like that was never fully explained because here's the thing. I remember, from my knowledge of Transformers, I'm not like a huge Transformers enthusiast or anything like that, but my knowledge for when they choose an animal or a vehicle to turn into, that's where it stays. You don't get to change from a semi-truck to a sports car or something like that. It's like, you choose like a cheetah, that's where you stay as. And that's what you'll transform into. Or if you choose a semi-truck, that's what you'll change into. You don't get to switch it up at a moment's notice. I mean, like, I don't know the Transformers history where they get to just change on a dime after they choose a particular disguise. I don't remember that being a thing before. I guess it could be a thing in the film franchise, but honestly, from what I remember as a kid, when they choose a disguise, that's what they stick to. They don't get to change it up at a whim. Or at the very least, they can, because like in the Beast Wars TV show, Tigatron goes like to like, into different metamorphoses, but the baseline is Tigatron. But Tigatron don't just change from a tiger to a panther. You see what I mean? Just because, like, it just, I don't know. Like I said, the movies can probably do their own rules, but from my history and knowledge of Transformers, once they pick a spot, they stick to it. Anyway, like I said, I will see you guys in like an hour or so for more Destiny 2 and Street Fighter 6. maybe just Street Fighter 6. We'll see like how it shapes out. But yeah, I'm gonna try to get me something to eat because I'm kind of starving. But thanks for subscribing, Cheesecake, and I'm Brandon94. Yeah, subscribe to my YouTube channel if you want to see all my other review videos and with comics and movies and TV shows, as well as my other video game walkthroughs that I post. But you can join me live later on in like an hour or so as I start streaming some Street Fighter 6. So yeah, I'll see y'all soon. Take care, and yeah, if I don't see you, like, have a great weekend. Peace.